The panchayat was held the same evening under an old banyan tree. Children, do you know what a banyan tree is very special for? Well, a banyan tree has roots in the air. It has aerial roots which hang from the tree. And banyan trees live for hundreds of years. So here in their village is a banyan tree, a very old banyan tree which is very big, and it must be providing a lot of shade to that area. So the entire panchayat and a whole lot of villagers can sit under it. Juman stood up and said, "The voice of the punch is the voice of God. Let my aunt nominate the head punch. I will abide by her decision." So children, this is a very, very special thing. So the punch is supposed to be the most just person. Now he says that, Juman says that the aunt should decide who the head punch should be, and that head punch would give the final decision. So the panchayat is elected, but here in this village, the head punch is nominated by the people concerned. Whoever the disagreement is between, they decide on the head punch. The punch knows neither friend nor enemy. The punch is the voice of the God means that the punch, like God, will do justice. The punch, like God, will take the side of truth, take the side of right. And Juman somehow is very confident. He feels that his aunt is in the wrong for asking him for a monthly allowance. But yet he allows his aunt to choose the punch. The punch knows neither friend nor enemy. What do you say to Algu Chaudhary? The old lady announced. The old lady announced, she was so confident that she chose Algu Chaudhary as the punch. Now children, this is very surprising. Algu Chaudhary is Juman's best friend, and yet the old lady chooses him as the punch. She wants Algu to make the final decision whether she is right or Juman is right. Fine, replied Juman, hiding his joy over this unexpected piece of luck. Now Juman is so happy. He's so excited that his close friend, his best friend Algu has been chosen as the punch. So he says, I'm so lucky that my aunt has chosen my friend as the punch. Definitely he's going to decide in my favor. Chachi, you are aware of my friendship with Juman, said Algu. Now Algu is a bit apprehensive. He does not want to be the punch. He feels that he should not be the punch because he is Juman's close friend. He warns the old lady about this. I know that, replied the aunt. But I also know that you will not kill your conscience for the sake of friendship. God lives in the heart of the punch, and his voice is the voice of God. And the old lady explained her case. Now, the old lady's confidence actually stems from the fact that she believes that whoever is the punch will make the right decision, because she feels that God lives in the heart of the punch, that the punch will definitely take the side of truth, will take the side of justice. The punch will definitely do justice. So she says, I know you are his friend, but I know that you will not kill your conscience, that you will follow your conscience, that you will definitely do justice and make the right decision, that you will not just favor your friend unrightfully. Juman, said Algu, you and I are old friends. Your aunt is as dear to me as you. So here children, like I said earlier, all your friends' relatives do feel like your own relatives. Is that right? Yes. Because you interact so much with your friends and their families that they become your own families. This is the case with Juman and Algu also. So Algu says that your aunt is like my aunt. She's as dear to me as you are. Now I am a punch, and you and your aunt are equal before me. What have you to say in your defense? So he says, for me, both of you are equal, and I will definitely take the side of the right. So he says, what do you say in your defense? What can you say to defend the fact that you are not taking care of your aunt? So now Juman gives his defense. 3 years ago, began Juman, my aunt transferred her property to me. I promised to support her as long as she lived. I have done all I could. So he says, he agrees over here, or rather he brings forth the fact that his aunt had given him her property. And in lieu of that, he had promised to support her, to take care of her as long as she lived. So he says, I've done all I could. He says that he's been taking care of her. But now the problem is that there have been a couple of quarrels between my wife and her, but I can't stop it. So here he says that, a couple of times means 2 or 3 times there have been fights between my wife and her. So he says that he cannot stop it. He feels that he cannot interfere between his wife and his aunt. And he also means to say that he has no control over the situation, that there are disagreements and fights between the two women. So he says, now my aunt is claiming a monthly allowance from me. This is not possible. That's all I have to say. So he says, I cannot afford to give her a monthly allowance. I cannot afford to give her money every month. I can't do it. Juman was cross-examined by Algu and others. So the punches asked him various questions relating to their problem. This is called a cross-examination. Then Algu announced, now Algu being the punch, the head punch at that time, he announced that we have gone into the matter carefully. In our opinion, Juman must pay his aunt a monthly allowance, or else the property goes back to her. So now what do they decide? What is the final decision of the panchayat under the leadership of Algu Chaudhary? That the aunt should be given a monthly allowance, she should be given money every month by Juman, or the property must go back to her. So if Juman does not give her some money every month, then he'll have to return her property. Just imagine, children, this is amazing. Algu, despite the fact that he is Juman's best friend, he decides in favor of the old aunt. He goes against his friend to give justice to the old woman. Now the two friends were seldom seen together. The bond of friendship between them was broken. In fact, Juman was Algu's enemy and wanted his revenge. So children, their friendship has broken. Now this is sad. Do you think Juman should have understood the situation? Do you think he should have happily agreed with Algu's decision? It is not easy. But they should definitely not have become enemies. They were such close friends. It is a shame that such a situation arose where their friendship had to break. But one feels very proud of Algu, who stood up for justice, who stood up for the right, and who gave justice to an old woman who was being troubled by her nephew Juman and his wife. Let's have a quiz now. The story Fair Play is written by Carol Moore, Ruskin Bond, Munshi Premchand, Rabindranath Tagore.
Munshi Premchand.
That is correct. The old aunt transferred her property to Juman, Algu, Algu's wife, or Juman's wife.
Juman.
That is the correct answer. Juman promised to, the options are, not disturb his aunt, support his aunt, buy a house for his aunt, take his aunt on a trip.
Support his aunt.
That is correct. Juman said the voice of the punch is the voice of, the options are Algu, Panchayat, God, village.
God.
That is correct. Juman said that the voice of the punch is the voice of God. Algu Chaudhary, as the punch, told Juman to give his aunt a monthly allowance, or the options are return her property, take her on a trip, buy her a house, give her his house.
Return her property.
That is correct. Very well done. Let's do another activity. Fill in the blanks with suitable prepositions. You can choose the prepositions from the ones given here in the box. They are to, on, in, under, among, between. God lives dash the heart of the punch.
God lives in the heart of the punch.
Good. There was a strong bond of friendship dash Algu and Juman.
There was a strong bond of friendship between Algu and Juman.
Very good. The aunt had to go dash the panchayat for justice.
The aunt had to go to the panchayat for justice.
Very good. The panchayat sat dash the banyan tree.
The panchayat sat under the banyan tree.
Very good. Algu stood dash the villagers.
Algu stood among the villagers.
Very well done.